Look at my coffee table. The weight is smack between the four legs rather than being piled onto one end or the other. It's balanced beautifully with half the weight on one side and half on the other. That means it's a stable table. Same thing applies to cars. Put the heavy stuff like the engine occupants and fuel in the middle and you have a car that's more stable than one with the heavy stuff piled at either end. That car will also be more responsive, agile, and entertaining. It'll have great steering with less weight on the front wheels. And it'll be less prone to understeer or oversteer and more prone to locking onto its line when you push it to the limit. Yes, a properly set up mid-engine car can feel as though it's fist punching the laws of physics square in the mouth. Many of the world's fastest, best handling cars are built around this mid-engine design, and though Porsche might be best known for the 911, which has its engine in the back, they've been building mid-engine cars since as far back as this 904 GTS from back in the day. Lately they have the Boxster and Cayman in their mid-engine model range, and today Porsche's special GTS badge has been applied to the mid-engine models like that old school 904 GTS once again with the recently launched Boxster and Cayman GTS. These cars are twins, just the Boxster has a convertible top and the Cayman is a coupe. We will look at the latter. The Cayman GTS is a high-end, track-ready racer built around the simple GTS principle. A little more power, a little more wheel and tire, and a whole whackload of the latest Porsche must-have performance technology as standard equipment makes it the hottest Cayman currently available. There's good value here, since you save thousands by buying a GTS, which includes a pile of standard performance features that are optional in lesser models. You'd spend plenty more individually adding the bigger tires and wheels, the newly refined active suspension system, the sports exhaust with push-button bypass, and the Sport Chrono package with its launch control and dynamic engine mounts to a standard Cayman model, and you still wouldn't get the exclusive styling treatment of the GTS or the slight power boost to 340 horses. So if you want a Cayman with all the toys, this is what you're after. Cayman GTS builds on a solid dynamic foundation and exhibits an underlying characteristic that you'll find even in the base model car. That is a driving experience that feels carefully honed on a circuit. Massive braking performance, expertly tuned to the power output, steering which feels beautifully dialed in against the weight and stiffness of the car, and a package that's big on overall balance. No part of the performance spectrum overwhelms any other, but it all comes together with the driver's fingers and toes with a polished and genuine feel, characteristic of a performance car that was built as such from square one. No fast cars built around an everyday model with a bunch of add-on parts and power rarely feel this authentic. So it's meant for the racetrack, and of course the weather during my test week in this Cayman GTS turned from this to this. So I visited sunny California, and specifically Laguna Seca Raceway, to see how the Cayman GTS does in its natural playground. The shifter and clutch are as perfect as I've ever seen. The steering is quick and eager and playful. The chassis is delightfully sensitive to weight transfer and easy to pitch and rotate with the throttle and brakes, and smooth and gentle inputs are rewarded, meaning it's not a tiresome, stressful car to drive hard, even many laps in. Driving fast is hard work, but in the Cayman, and even more in this hopped-up GTS model, you can run it around lap after lap and still get out feeling like $1,000,000. It feels effortless. The car does so much for you. There's no fighting or conflict. The thing is just so eager to do exactly what you want with just tiny little inputs. And listen to that engine. It's the same balanced overall character as any other Cayman here, but with higher speeds, added stability, deeper braking, and a higher likelihood that the seatbelt is the only thing holding your spleen inside of your torso as G-forces build in fast corners. All skill levels are covered here. Novice track day folks will feel well supported and not intimidated, and skilled drivers will find a machine that's right there with them as confidence builds. So it's easy to drive fast, surprisingly potent, and very, very finely tuned to deliver a one-of-a-kind driving experience.
So despite all that racetrack engineering, as Porsches tend to go, this one is easy enough to drive every single day. It's simple to get in and out of. You can see out of it. There are two trunks, so lots of room for your stuff. This clutch and shifter are nice and light, easy to use. They don't get tiresome even in stop and go traffic, and it's actually pretty good on fuel if you fight the temptation to do 7,600 RPM every chance you get. I haven't been having much luck with that, but really it's all about return on investment. And if you're shelling out this kind of cash for a high dollar track ready Porsche, it is, after all, always nice to know that you can enjoy it every single day if you like.
This really is one of the ultimate everyday driver's cars. I love it, and I wouldn't change a thing, except maybe for the price tag you pay for this sort of experience with Porsche, and the as-tested price of this particular unit with a few options came in around 103 grand. I'd have to sell my house. There are numerous faster, more powerful, and less expensive track-ready alternatives, though I bet few of them feel this natural a performer. That big price is still big value for the driving enthusiasts with the means and the funds, and it isn't going to stop Porsche from selling every one of these that they can build.